It's time for Class Racing Today, the podcast for the NHRA class racing fan. Welcome back to Class Racing Today. ClassRacingToday.com is the website. ClassRacingToday@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments, you can send them that way. If you happen to be watching on the live stream on Facebook right now, if you comment on that main feed, we try to get those in and comment about them and bring them on the show. We do our best. There's no guarantees, but we will certainly try. We have we are funded by the Value for Value model, which is really, if you get value out of the show, you get to decide what that value is, and you get to turn that into dollars and send it back our way. You can do that at ClassRacingToday.com. There's a donate button. Choose that. We do want to thank Troy Dillow for coming in hot this last week. We appreciate all the support that you listeners give. Another way you can support the show is to share it out and get more people listening. That's always a fantastic way to support the show. Also, we want to talk about Drag Insights, the app that Bobby is like deep in the weeds, has soft launched the premium model. What's going on with that, Bobby? Tell us a little bit.
Well, the premium model. So anybody that already signed up for Drag Insights, which we have about 540 users as of now, you can see your own stats and you can see all your opponent's stats. You can search events. You can view a calendar. All that is now going away. The free version will only include your stats, and you can search out events. However, you won't be able to see any of your opponent's stats. You won't be able to use the racer calendar, which is really cool because it helps you plan ahead. You can see all the races that are going on every weekend in a nice color-coded map. So your user features will be limited if you are not a premium version member. Premium version is $4.99 a month or $50 for the year. So you save $10 if you sign up for the year. It also allows you to the option to sign up for the contingency package, where you can sign up, and it doesn't matter how many classes you run. If you run, stock and super comp and super gas, I don't know how many classes people run out there right now, but you only have to sign up one time, and you let us know how many cars you're driving and how many stickers you need, and you'll get them in the mail. And if you win, you get a 1-year extension on your premium membership. If you runner up, you get a 6-month extension on your premium membership.
Very cool.
And if you win all the time, and you're like, hey, I just have so many extensions here, you can gift those to other racers or family or friends, because you don't have to be a racer to be on this. You can be just a fan who likes to, see what's going on in the racing world. We have plenty of memberships that are not racers. They're car owners. They're just your average spectator. So.
And that's all available app.draginsights.com, correct?
Yes, app.draginsights.com.
Perfect. Check that out.
Now that's a fantasy sport I could get behind.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't care about brackets or fantasy football or baseball or any of that garbage, but fantasy racing. No.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Brian, because I almost forgot. The power rankings is something new that we started doing right before the Winter Nationals. So we're doing it for national events right now. And there's a power factor that's taken into account the driver's average win percentage, average reaction time, average ET, number of runs in that car. What else is in there? There's a whole bunch of factors, and then that spits out a power factor number. And then from there, we come up with a win probability for the field. So definitely would like to turn that into, like Brian said, fantasy.
A betting line. Perfect.
So who's your starting racer in your fantasy team?
Oh,
it depends on which race, but yeah, last weekend my starting racer for the Gator Nationals was definitely, if I had my fictitious money going off the power ranking, number one on the power ranking was Jeff Strickland in stock, and I probably would have spent most of my money on him, which would have like not afforded me much, too many other drivers, but he won. So I probably would have done pretty well there. And then in super stock, I know Peter Diagnolo won, and he was on the power rankings. I think he was about third or fourth on the ranking sheet.
Is that how you say it, or is it D'Angelo?
No, I think it's either Dagnolo or Diagnolo.
Ignolo. You
Yep.
East Coast guys in your names. I tell you what, like,
Is that what it is?
gotta have our Eastern translator. I'm not. I don't. The only Italian me is the spaghettios that I ate when I was a kid.
So, brother.
Yeah, we probably have a lot more vowels over here than you do in South Dakota.
That is true.
So I think the fantasy thing should actually go for like world championships, though. That would even make it more fun. Like, let's pick them before the season for the world championship.
That'd be interesting.
Maybe next year we can have it set up to do all that. That would be awesome. Yeah, for the year. And then if your driver, it's just like in football. If your driver, let's say, blows a motor halfway through the year and just doesn't race anymore, it's kind of like, your star running back getting an injury and not being able to play.
But let's face it, most of the people we're going to pick to win, like Justin Lamb, you think he's going to like just have one motor or stop racing because of that?
Right.
Like, oh, I blew a transmission, I'm done for the year. No, that doesn't happen.
No, that's me and you.
Yeah. Oh, I burned out my slicks. I guess I'm done for the year,
Also, coming up April 29 through May 1 in St. Louis, the second annual Class Racers Revival.
It's April 28th, Craig.
Sorry, my note said 29. All right, so 28 through May 1. RaceDerbyCity.com is the website to sign up and go get your entry figured out and get all the details. Brian went there and smoked the place out last year. So
that's sad. I don't even want to talk about it. Like, that's the race. Like, I'm so bummed I'm not going to be there. Like, it's just killing me.
But
Bobby, you need to go there. You need to go to that race and
I'm like, I'm supposed to race at ACO Easter weekend, and then the weekend after we have a National Open Easter weekend. It's just Friday and Saturday, and then the weekend after we have a divisional. Well, that same weekend there's a national going on in Houston, which could be the last national ever at Houston. And last I checked, there's 18 super stockers signed up for it. So why am I going to go to ACO and try to race against probably 100 super stock cars? We should go to Houston for a nice big payout for a national event. And then from there, we could probably go right to St. Louis, because that's, I think, the weekend after.
Kind of on your way home.
On the way home. So I'm trying to talk my car owner into that. I don't know if he's going to go for it.
Speaking of you at
And
races,
ACO is 40 minutes down the road.
Speaking of you at races, though, Bobby, you just spent the last few days in the rain, right?
That wasn't just rain. I don't know what that was.
Have your fingers unpruned yet? Like, are you still a little pruny, or you look you look well hydrated today?
It's Florida. It rains for like an hour and then the sun comes back out. No, it rains for like 36 straight hours.
Wow.
And then the trucks and tractors have to come out to pull people out of their pit spots.
Was there a hurricane nobody talked about?
There was an alligator spotting, and it swallowed Alex Laughlin's little boat or whatever, remote control boat that he was
you didn't go
driving
wrestling
around the pits.
Should've
An
wrestled
alligator just came up and swallowed it.
Oh, that's cool.
Everybody's hiding
But
their
then he like
dogs.
spit it out, and then the boat still drove back. He drove the boat back to him and was holding it up.
Wow.
So that was crazy and depressing, because I flew out there really early Thursday morning, and it rained Thursday most of the day. But then the sun came out probably around like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and it was awesome. And they were drying the track, and everybody was taking their stockers out of the trailer. I was getting really excited. We did a happy hour live video for Drag Insights. That was pretty cool. We just had random people walking by, interviewing them. And then they said, never mind, we're done for the day. The rain just did too much damage, and we would have to scrape the whole track. So no racing, which was very unfortunate, because it was so nice out. And then Friday hit, and it just rained. And not rain. It just poured for at least 24 straight hours without slowing down, all the way into Saturday. Saturday morning, it was still pouring. And I figured there's no way they're going to race today either. But I was wrong. Saturday, it finally stopped. The sun came out, and they drive the track, and Factory Stock Showdown was the first class to go out there. So that was as close as I got to seeing stock and super stock, because after Factory Showdown, we went into the fuel cars, pro stock. Everybody did one session of the pros, and then they shut it down for Saturday. And then I had to leave for the airport Saturday night.
I did see that you, I mean, with the rain, there was some benefit because you got to talk to people because they weren't racing. You kind of delved into the fast motorcycle world for one of those.
Yes, I did. So the driver interviews, which really popped for us last year, with actually at the Class Racers Revival is where we kind of started that, where I got my feet wet with it. I started doing...
No, you got your feet wet this last weekend.
Yeah, right. So I started the driver interviews with Bobby Fazio page just so, you know, I can keep interviewing stock and super stock drivers, but I want to try and reach all the sportsman racers. The way that motorcycle interview happened is just, that's kind of crazy. So anyways, yeah, I was trying to interview, you know, different classes and categories. I want to try and be a little bit more, have a little more variety here. And, you know, obviously my favorite is still stock and super stock. It's the classes that I know the most about and the cars that interest me the most, but I probably shouldn't say that out loud.
Yeah, but you're open. You're open.
I was talking to Kyle Koretsky, who races a pro stock car, but he runs super comp occasionally, and his sponsor jumped in the camera. Now this sponsor, I don't know, are we on a PG-13 here, or are we on like, how high are we allowed to go here?
Just edit it out.
We have to add the E if we go crazy.
All right, I'm going to give this guy a free plug just because what a concept and what a crazy person. Nutsense.com.
Okay.
And it was ball soap with various flavors, or scents, I should say, not flavors, scents. And he jumped in the camera and he said, "Listen, I'm sponsoring Kyle Koretsky. Here's my business card. Can you come over and interview my pro stock motorcycle guy that I'm sponsoring?" And I told him, I was like, "I don't really interview pros like this. I'm just, you know, I just saw Koretsky." That's all right. That's right. Can you do it? Can you do it? Okay. So I went over to interview the pro stock motorcycle gentleman, Flying Ryan. And I tried to talk this nutsense soap guy. I said, "What are you doing? You know, why are you sponsoring?" He said, "It costs a lot of money to sponsor these pro cars." So I said, "What are you doing? Offer up a contingency package to all the sportsman cars." So I tried to talk him into that. I said, "Get everybody to buy a little soap, put a sticker on their car if they're willing, and pay them if they win." So he was going to think about that. Maybe we'll have another contingency sponsor on board.
Brother.
You just have to have a sticker on your car that says "Nutsense" on it, and the slogan was, "If you're..." Oh God. Hold on. Let me get this out of my wallet here. All right.
Oh boy.
Oh jeez.
Oh my God.
This show just went weird.
Here it is. You see that?
Yeah.
Nutsense male ball soap, right? When your girl goes down, she won't have a frown.
Sakes. No wonder the guy is having trouble.
So somehow I met that guy, and that's how I got interviewing Flying Ryan, the pro stock motorcycle racer. But that was cool because I learned a lot about pro stock motorcycle that I never knew, the rules, the weights, all that good stuff.
It's crazy.
And that's how that happened.
All
So
that 'cause it rained.
driverinterviews.com is the website.
Excellent. What's coming up this weekend?
This upcoming weekend?
Yeah.
What is going on this
Well,
upcoming weekend?
wasn't there stuff that happened last week?
Yeah, you better do results.
Well, let's talk about the
come
from
on,
last weekend.
wins. There you go.
Since they ran on Monday at the Gator Nationals, our people ran on Monday at the Gator Nationals, the sportsman racers. Jeff Strickland took the win in stock eliminator. He's got a factory stock B 22 Camaro. Nice piece. And he got the win against Ron Urquhart, Division One gentleman. I forget where Ron's from. Virginia, Maryland, somewhere around there. Nice purple Camaro. I think it's 67, 68, 69, somewhere in there, Camaro. Can't remember off the top of my head. And then Pete Diagnolo, right? Super stock C modified stock, 67 Camaro. He got the win in super stock. So congratulations to Jeff Strickland and Peter Diagnolo. And then we forgot to mention 2 weeks ago with the double divisional in Arizona. So they did 2 divisionals back to back, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, which is cool because people are getting 2 grade points for the trip. Brad Burton, stock eliminator, he won both races in a row, which is pretty amazing. So his final round in that first race, he had a 4,000s package against Ryan Mangus. And Brad Burton has a D stock automatic 1972 Formula Firebird. And let's see. So congrats, Brad Burton, on that race 1. And then Larry Zavala. Everybody loves Larry Zavala. Super stock I automatic 87 Camaro. He got the win in race 1. So race 2, Brad Burton again. D stock automatic 72 Formula Firebird. And then Larry McClanahan, factory super stock C. He's got a 2016 Cobra Jet, which I believe he had hurt the motor the week before at the Phoenix, the national event. I think he was in the final against Ryan McClanahan. He couldn't show up for the final, and then he comes back the next week, has that fixed, and then wins. So congratulations, Larry McClanahan. Factory super stock C16 Cobra Jet. Let's see where everybody is headed this weekend.
Everybody's going to Vegas.
Vegas.
Used to be, what they used to call it? Our guest. We should bring our guest in. Is our guest ready to go?
I don't know. I'll have to poke the bear, see if he's there.
I'm ready if you're ready.
I think so. Hey,
yo. You know those West Coast guys always sleep in,
Right.
Probably just get out of bed, wearing his jammies around.
Mm-hmm.
So we get the sleepy dust out of my eye real quick.
Nice.
What's going on in Vegas, Tony?
We got a super stock combo race that we're helping sponsor and put on, along with a few other companies that we've drummed up. And so it's be a Friday and Saturday this weekend, and just a 2-day deal, super stock combo.
That
sounds great. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, this is Tony Mandella on the line from PMR Race Cars, Phil Mandella Race Cars, and he is co-creating a $10,000 race, super stock race this weekend, as he just said.
Yep, we've got I think we've got up to about 54 cars pre-registered. The pre-registration stopped on Monday night, and we landed about 54 cars pre-registered, which we were pretty happy with. So hoping we'll get at least 10 or more to show up at the gate, and we can make this a 7-round race. So
where'd this idea come from? What made you want to do this?
I'll give the credit to my dad and Phil Painter. Phil Painter is the one that is the promoter for the muscle cars of the strip, what used to be known as the Mopars of the strip. And so he had approached my dad and us and wanted to put on a combo race, and it was a little last minute. We only had about, I don't know, probably 30, 40 days to kind of try to drum something up, but try to make it something big too. And, timing worked out, and a bunch of good companies jumped in and, helped put everything together. We got about 10,000 to win and get your money paid back in round 3, and a bunch of other door prizes along the way too.
Well, it's pretty cool because I remember at the Class Race Revival last year, you guys were talking about wanting to start doing races like that on the West Coast. So it's pretty cool that you guys can drum up the sponsors and stuff like that. Was it hard getting sponsors interested in supporting this deal, or?
We've got such a good relationship with our vendors. They kind of trust us when we're calling them. We're not always calling them and begging them and asking them for money for things. And obviously we want to make sure that we're, providing this two-way street with them where it becomes a benefit to them, and it's not just money for our race. Mazir's stepped up. They're putting up like 4 $250 product certificates, so $1,000 worth of stuff. California Car Cover, they're providing some custom car covers, some car dusters. They've also kicked in a little bit towards the purse. Even just some racers that can't make the race, they wanted to support it. Scott Burton wanted to support it, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it. So he kicked in a little bit. Buddy Jensen, he also wasn't able to make it just for timing and stuff like that. So he kicked in a little bit. So they're all very excited to see this happening and wanted to try to make it as big as possible. And hopefully we can turn this into, something a little bit more annual to start with, and maybe, go on from there. So
I was doing a little research. It looks like there's going to be some Hemi cars there too.
yes. So they're actually going to run separate. They're not going to run part of the combo race. At least not all of them will run the combo race, but they usually do a Hemi shootout there at this race. That's kind of a traditional thing that has always gone on there. And so they usually do like a round robin type shootout deal between them, which is kind of cool. The fans like it.
What's the entry going to be for the race?
The entry fee is $200 to enter.
Will stock be racing stock, or will it just be straight up combo? Everybody races everybody.
I think it's going to be a straight up combo race right from the get go. We will be qualifying off a reaction time on this event, and at that point we'll ladder it just like we normally would off a sportsman ladder. So the only difference would be is we're not going to do qualifying off our class designation. So just lack of manpower for us to kind of watch it and police all that stuff and everything to start with.
Man, now I'm kind of really disappointed. I would have had a chance to make it up on the top of the qualifying sheet for once in my life.
I know. Well, your nickname still is 4-pack since you wiped me clean in St. Louis last year. So.
Oh boy. Well, is there gonna be heads ups or anything like that?
No heads up. Same thing, just for the reason of not being able to kind of police too much stuff there. But at the same time, we were trying to get this done in 2 days. And now that we're turning into almost a 7-round race, we're going to have to be hustling pretty good. So didn't leave a whole lot of time, I don't think, if we got into a later round situation where there was a heads up that would leave a whole lot of time. So we're going to leave that one off to the side.
Well, that's just neat that, like I said, getting a little more support, and hopefully everybody comes out and supports it. We can grow this thing every year. There's something to be said. I think there's a place for races like this, and pay some downside money and you can win some decent money. I mean, a guy's got to, unfortunately with fuel prices the way they are, you want to pick the race where it's the biggest bang for your buck, and how do you beat a deal like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the gas prices are not opportune time, but for the money we got up and going, it would make sense to do this race and maybe skip something else. So
now, Tony, there's a national event at Las Vegas in 2 weeks after your race.
Yep.
Have you put an effort together with the track to maybe entice people to come to your race if they're allowed to leave their stuff at Las Vegas during that 2-week period?
Yeah, it was a big talking point. We tried, and not that Vegas didn't probably want to. It's a big liability deal, and I'll say it's the potential is still on the table. But we also have a lot of local racers that have some spots. There's not going to be room for everybody with the number of cars that are showing up, but I know that there were some local guys that have some space available. Another one of the sponsors for the race was John Irving. They've got some money that they put up into it, and he's got a trailer sales company out in Vegas, and they have a little bit of room to keep some cars. He may or may not already be full, but they were going to accommodate a couple of racers to be able to keep their rigs there in between. And then hopefully I can talk to Vegas when I'm up there, and maybe we can come up with something a little bit last minute for the guys.
So guys that are thinking about coming that want to reach out and try to secure a spot, who's the contact for that? Would they call you, or what's the easiest way to get together on that deal?
Yeah, I'd say just have them give me a call, and then I can designate from there, because I've got about 2 or 3 other contacts that have been willing to provide some spots. And again, we'll see if hopefully there's still some spots available. That would be my only concern right now. No, I haven't checked in on that lately.
I would imagine Vegas just doesn't want sportsman racers in John Force's pit spot, right? So can't put you guys out where they're going to have you 2 weeks from that day and save everybody a bunch of trouble. Pitch it to him, Tony.
Yeah, right. I'll make it work. I'll put the googly eyes on and guilt them into it.
There you go.
Just give them the, don't you know who I am?
No, see, I'd have to pull my card and pretend I'm one of you guys or something.
Just put Phil on the phone. Well, awesome. That's all great for putting that on, and I hope it's well received. It's everybody says they want to race for stuff like this, so when there's a race, we just all need to pull together and support it however we can.
Yeah, definitely. I'll do a real quick thank you to the guys that have been working hard on putting this together. Obviously, our guys at PMR Race Cars, California Car Cover, Mark Kirby at Wicked Stitches, John Irving with his trailer company up there in Vegas. IRC Racing Components, they've got some money they kicked in. We've got Steve Hahn Auto Group, dealership out of Washington. He's kicked in some stuff. Customer of ours and friend Larry Miller, his company kicked in some money. We've got a bunch of other guys, like I said, a couple local racers that had kicked in to help support the cause, and which I think is fantastic. And Mickey Thompson Tires, Maxima Racing Oils, Eric Jones from Jones Engine Development, Bob Mazzolini has kicked in, and Calvert Racing Suspensions has also provided some swag and some other good stuff along for the event as well. So,
Tony, is there going to be like drawings or random people, like you all start around, here's a free car cover type of deal, like things like that?
Yep. Yeah, we're going to have a bunch of, because we've got a fair amount of little door prizes that guys have been generous to kick in. We're going to be able to do a lot of stuff like that. So we would have your typical, best first round losing package. We'll have something for that kind of stuff, probably best wheel stand. We're going to give away some wheelie bar wheels. Car covers will be raffled off in a couple of different states or versions there. And yeah, so all kinds of different stuff. So everybody's got a chance of walking away with something, even regardless of performance at the end of the day.
That's the best part of these races, I think. So, and $200 to win 10,000. We pay $200 to win 2,000 at divisional events. I mean, I think you're crazy if you don't go to this.
What about the longest haul? Who do you think the longest haul is going to be?
Yeah, that would be a good one. This race gets some pretty, attention from, outside play. I had people from Colorado calling me trying to get snuck into the race to see if they could be, included in stock and super stock. And I kind of had to give them the bad news that they wouldn't be allowed to run. But, so yeah, there would be, I think I've got a couple guys coming potentially from the Washington area. I know that. My dad probably knows further who else might be coming from further away.
I'm pretty sure there's a guy coming from just about the Canadian border. I think old 4-Speed Johnny is going to be making the trip, and that'll be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Excellent.
I think you'll enjoy
4-Speed Johnny's going to be there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just wait for like the guy that shows up in the parka, the big the big furry hooded parka. He's probably looks like he just stepped off of a research center somewhere in Antarctica and rolling into Vegas.
He cooks great food.
Johnny's
Let's see
Kitchen.
what the flights look like from Philly to Las Vegas. When's this? All the racing is going to be Friday and Saturday, right? Are you looking at Sunday too?
Only if for something that falls apart, but the race is planned to finish on Saturday. So we're going to race. We'll do qualifying on Friday. It'll be, I'll say 2 at the minimum qualifiers, but we're shooting for maybe 3 qualifiers on Friday. A lot of this will depend on the actual car count, not just for the combo guys, but for the rest of the race too. So we're shooting for 2 to 3 qualifiers on Friday. We are going to definitely plan for a qualifier Saturday morning. That way it gives a chance if a guy shows up late Friday or even early Saturday, you could still be, getting a lick at the track and be competitive, and then finish the race on Saturday and be concluded. So the rest of the event is still going on through Sunday. We wanted to get it all kind of wrapped up for the guys and not draw something out. And then there was a lot of interest with that as far as having that travel day back home. So that's what we're shooting for.
Well, that'd be awesome. Do you guys have plans on doing anything else like this, or it kind of just depends how this one goes?
I mean, already pretty excited and happy with the pre-registered cars. Obviously more would be better, but I think having a good showing like this, I think having also a good showing just for Phil Painter and the rest of the muscle cars at the strip would be something good to show for, just for some sponsors and stuff. And hopefully we can show that value for the sponsors that are on board now, so they'll be willing to join back up, and then hopefully raise some eyebrows for, other sponsors that would want to jump in for, down the road stuff. And then if we turn, we get a little more serious with it, where we don't have 40 days to try to put something together. We get a year in advance or even 6 months to try to plan something. I think we can have a shot at making, it's something pretty big. So,
like I said, the biggest thing is if we can all support the ones that are going, it'll help encourage other people to try the same thing. And I think we beat the drum all the time. But if we want to grow it, we got to have races, and this is like the stuff everybody wants to do, but you just have to do it,
Yep, exactly.
Well, awesome. I'm glad you could come on today. And like I said, I think you hit most of the sponsors. Got anybody else you want to thank, or any other details we got to know?
I think everybody on my list there got covered, and just like I said, Phil Painter at Muscle Cars of the Strip, and he's been a big proponent of it, and he's been getting all the signage made up, flyers, and a lot of stuff. So he's got
I'll be muted. There we go.
For a second there. Just to thank Phil Painter and Muscle Cars of the Strip and Las Vegas for letting us join in and putting something good together.
Actually, I forgot one detail here. Who's doing the barbecue Friday night? Tri-tip.
Yeah, so that's a good one. That one was a surprise to me, so I'm I'm trying to find that one out myself. So we're gonna make it happen one way or the other, because it's been publicized now. So we got to find some food and start cooking. So you guys want to volunteer and come out and help me cook?
Help you eat.
Tri-tip's one of those
I need
things.
a calculator on how much tri-tip to get for 120 people or whatever the number is going to be.
Well, the nice thing is I've never had that before. I stumbled upon it last year, and I think that stays good forever. Like, cook her up, and then the next day, and then the next day. Like, I could eat tri-tip every day for weeks, I think. So make sure you get a lot of extra.
Yeah, no, you can't go wrong with tri-tip. But it's apparently just a West Coast thing. It's called something else on the East Coast, and you guys are unfortunately missing out.
What do we call it?
Something like beef tips or something like that, but it doesn't come in the same like packaging or cut. I don't know why.
What can we say?
Well, it's pretty cool. Like I said, once again, thanks for coming on. And anybody that still wants to get in the race, they can still call and get signed up on the sheet and give Tony a call and say, hey, I'm coming. Make sure there's a spot for me.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have anybody last minute at the gate, and appreciate everybody that's pre-registered. I appreciate you guys a ton for all that you do for the sport and for Stock and Super Stock. And you guys are a blast to listen to, and thanks for the opportunity to bring me on here.
Awesome. Thanks, Tony.
All right. Talk to you soon.
What can you fly there for, Bobby? You figured that out yet?
Yeah, I was looking. It's just a little bit too short of notice, I believe.
Well, nowadays everything is going nuts with the cost of fuels. Ticket prices are not
Yes.
looking good.
Last time I flew there, it was like $200. It says it's $450 right now.
Ugh. A friend of mine was looking to go from Oregon to Texas, like $1,000. Crazy.
Hmm.
Oh,
Check Skiplag. That's
So-
my website of choice for booking flights.
yeah.
What was that one?
Skiplagged. Skiplagged.
Mm.
And the thing is,
Wow.
so it searches
That's a problem.
connecting flights. You know, a flight from Philly to Las Vegas could be $400, but a flight from Philly to San Francisco that stops in Las Vegas could be $200, and it's the same exact flight.
Mm.
So as long as you don't check a bag, you book the flight to San Fran, you get off in Las Vegas, and go about your way, and you save money.
So last week we were whining and crying about daylight saving time. I saw today the U.S. Senate, which does nothing usually as far as getting things accomplished, passed a bill unanimously to end that time change
Did they?
debacle.
Oh, I thought that was just like a joke meme or something. It
No,
was real.
the Hill. It's real, yeah. Now, whether anything happens about it really may not happen, but I'm heartened slightly that maybe they'll do something worthwhile.
Yeah, I've been messed up ever since. I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
why. One stinking hour, like now I'm staying up later, and it's harder to get up in the morning.
Mhm.
So get rid of it. I'm
Look-
all for it.
Look at that. Skip lag.
There's more
424.
pressing matters going on
Mm.
right now, but of course they took care of that, right?
Well, I mean, this would be a good time to do something meaningless like the time change. So it's good.
Right.
We'll fix the time change so nobody's crabby about the fuel prices anymore. That's a great idea.
Right. That's it. We'll give you a bone. It's little and rotten, but we got it for you. All right. Anything else you guys have for today?
No. Good luck anybody that heads to Vegas, and
If
also
you're, if you're close and you're thinking about it, just get in the damn truck and go there. Like, there's no reason not to go.
That'll be the title. Just get
Get in the
grand,
damn
what's the
truck.
door prize?
nice.
And great weather. I mean, you're in a desert. 0% chance of rain every day.
Well, that's always exciting. This is Class Racing Today. Remember, Race Derby City, second annual Class Racers Revival coming up April 28th through May 1 in St. Louis. Go to racederbycity.com to sign up and get more details. We thank them for their support of the show. Remember, app.dragonsites.com. You can get your premium membership now so you can begin to work on your fantasy race teams. Maybe. It's coming up. Also, thanks again to Troy Dillo for his support of the show. If you want to join that, the elite status of those that help support the podcast, go to classracingtoday.com. Click on the Donate Today button or Donate button. Find it. There's a couple spots there. And you choose the value you get out of the show, turn it into dollars and send it our way. The other option is to tell more people to listen. We thank all of you for your support, all of you for your continued listenership. And we will see you all next week. Have a wonderful day. See you later.